Okay, so let's talk about English learning. Have you ever felt really stuck? You spend hours memorizing vocabulary, grammar rules, and then when it's actually time to speak, you just freeze.
Oh, absolutely. I think pretty much everyone learning a language has been there, staring at words on a page that just won't connect in a real conversation.
Right. So today, we're taking a deep dive into an idea that honestly could completely change how you approach English.
Yeah, it's about moving beyond just like rote memorization.
Exactly. To really understanding how English works out there, in the real world. Think of it as a shortcut.
Shortcut to speaking naturally and with confidence.
That's the idea. It's not just correctly, but confidently.
Well, what's fascinating, the source material we're looking at today, it's excerpts from Understand English. Stop memorizing, start speaking. It really challenges that whole traditional learning method.
The memorization grind.
Totally. It suggests, memorizing words might help you ace a test, short-term win.
Sure, feels productive.
But it rarely actually equips your brain for that spontaneous, unpredictable flow of a real chat.
So why is that? Why the disconnect?
We'll get into that. We'll look at some solid examples, practical tips, too, that shift the focus.
Okay.
It's all about context, connection, and really making English a living part of your day-to-day.
So for you listening, what does this really mean? Well, imagine connecting new words, new grammar to actual situations you're in.
Yeah, making it part of how you think, not just stuff you repeat.
Right. So our mission today is to show you how to get that knowledge faster, more thoroughly.
Find those aha moments.
Yes. And crucially, avoid feeling totally overwhelmed by it all.
Okay, so let's talk about the core problem with just memorizing. The source material uses a few stories to illustrate this really well.
Like who?
Well, there's David. He can memorize vocab lists perfectly, like flawless recall.
Impressive on paper.
Right. But he couldn't actually use the words when he tried to talk to someone.
Oof. Okay.
And then there's Paul. He had notebooks like overflowing with vocabulary.
Sounds familiar.
But same story. He just froze when it came time to speak. The source likens it to collecting bricks.
Bricks?
Yeah, like you have thousands of bricks, but you don't know how to build a house.
Yeah.
You have the pieces.
But no structure, no blueprint.
Exactly. You lack the knowledge to make something functional. Our brains just aren't wired to recall isolated facts like that on demand in a complex situation.
That Paul example, wow, that really hits home for probably a lot of people listening. It sounds like the book is pushing for a big shift away from just knowing single words.
Fundamentally, yes.
But, if you've spent years trying to memorize, it's tough to just stop, right? What's the very first step? How do you break that habit?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the source says the first tangible step is shifting your focus away from isolated words.
Towards what?
Towards connections, towards patterns. Think about Sarah, the nurse mentioned in the material.
Okay.
She knew medical words, fever, headache, all that, memorized them.
Right, essential vocabulary.
But she couldn't weave them into a natural conversation during her shift. The missing piece wasn't the words themselves.
It was.
It was understanding how they fit into a real dialogue. How do you ask a patient about symptoms? How might they respond? That whole back and forth.
The context of the interaction.
Precisely. And similarly, James, in customer service, he realized he needed to understand why a caller said something, the underlying reason or feeling.
Not just the literal words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To actually improve his calls. It's not just about knowing the word. It's understanding its job, its function, how it plays with other words in that specific situation.
So building communication pathways in your brain, not just storing data points.
You got it. It's about embedding words in their natural habitat, so to speak.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actively do that? Are there specific strategies the source recommends for building this understanding first vocabulary?
Absolutely. A big one is connecting new words to real situations.
Yeah. Like
David again, instead of just learning the word challenge. He started studying full sentences. This project is a challenge because it requires teamwork. Or facing challenges helps us grow.
So seeing it in action.
Exactly. It's called contextual learning. It helps you grasp the nuances, the right way to use it. Your brain forms stronger, more flexible links that way.
That feels much more useful. Seeing the word as part of a living system, not just an isolated definition. And the source mentions something called chunking.
Ah, yes. Chunking.
Why is learning groups of words together, like take a break, better than just learning take and break separately?
Because it massively reduces the mental effort, the cognitive load. Instead of grabbing 2 or 3 separate words and figuring out how to stick them together correctly.
Yeah.
Take a break becomes one single unit in your head, like how native speakers process it.
Oh, okay. Like one concept.
Right. Remember Hannah? She used to say, I take rest. Knew the words.
But it sounds a bit off.
Yeah, unnatural. But learning phrases like take a break or get some rest is whole chunks. Her fluency shot up.
Gotcha. Any other examples of useful chunks?
Oh, tons. Things like at the moment, a couple of, by the way, they just make communication smoother, more natural sounding.
Okay, so contextual learning, chunking. What other practical tips does the source give for building this connected vocabulary?
Well, another easy one is actively looking for example sentences whenever you learn a new word.
So don't just stop at the definition.
Right. For support, don't just learn what it means. Find examples. She supports her family. The company supports its employees. That immediately gives you usage context.
Makes sense.
You could also connect words to your actual life by just describing your surroundings in English, like Mark did.
What did Mark do?
He put little sticky notes with English words on stuff in his house, his fridge, the door, just constantly seeing the words in context.
Immersive, even at home.
Exactly. And for a more structured approach, you could try a theme-based method, like focus on kitchen vocabulary for a week.
So spoon, fork, stove.
Yeah, but practice them in sentences about cooking or eating dinner, connected to the actual activity.
Okay, so we're seeing how context helps with words and phrases. But, grammar. The scary part for many.
Yeah, the grammar monster.
Can this understanding first idea work for something as complex as English grammar? Or are rules just rules you have to memorize?
This is actually where some of the biggest aha moments can happen, because it taps into how we naturally learn through exposure and noticing patterns. Implicit learning, researchers call it.
Implicit learning.
Yeah, learning without necessarily focusing on explicit rules.
Yeah.
Think about Anna. She really struggled with grammar rules, memorizing them.
Okay.
She improved dramatically when she started reading short stories and just noticing how tenses were used naturally.
So not drilling the rule, but seeing it used.
Exactly. Seeing, I'd finished my work before he arrived in the story, rather than just memorizing the past perfect conjugation. It helps you develop an intuitive feel for it.
A feel for the grammar.
Right. Then she practiced by telling her own stories, using those patterns. It's like your brain builds its own internal grammar engine based on the real data it sees.
That's a really different way of looking at it. From rigid rules to intuitive patterns, are there other examples of this pattern recognition?
Definitely. The material mentions Adam. He learned to say he doesn't instead of he don't, a common mistake.
Oh.
Not by drilling the rule third-person singular takes S, but by simply seeing and hearing lots of real examples. He doesn't like coffee. She doesn't work here. It became a discovery, an internalized pattern for him.
So it just started sounding right to him.
Exactly. Same with prepositions, like why we say listen to music but not hear to music. It's not about memorizing lists of verbs and prepositions.
It's about noticing.
Noticing that listen almost always shows up with to in that context. You see the pattern again and again, and it sticks. Inductive learning.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Listening. Understanding spoken English is tough, right? It's fast, people mumble, accents.
Super challenging.
The source suggests focusing on the overall meaning, not every single word. How does that actually help? My instinct is always to try and catch everything.
That instinct is natural, but it often leads to overwhelm. Focusing on the main idea is key. It's related to this idea of comprehensible input.
Comprehensible input.
Yeah, understanding the gist, even if you don't know every word. Mark, for example, understood his dad's story about their town's history.
Even with new words.
Even with new words. Because he focused on the main points, the feelings being expressed, and he asked questions to clarify.
Like what?
Simple things like, when did you move here? Or, what's your favorite place?
Yeah.
It shows listening isn't passive, it's active. You're inferring, connecting dots.
Right, you're engaging with it.
Exactly. And Emily improved her listening by training herself to zero in on key info names, places, times, instead of getting bogged down trying to catch every single tiny word. You build a framework, then fill it in.
So for you listening, how do you practice this? How do you make this part of your routine?
The advice is consistent. Daily listening, even just a few minutes. And consciously practice just getting the main idea, the gist.
Don't stress about perfection.
Not at all. And mix it up. Listen to different accents, different speeds. Michael listened to American English, British, Australian.
To train his ear.
Exactly. And this is important. Don't be afraid to listen to the same thing multiple times. Each time, Your brain processes more, catches new things. It builds understanding layer by layer.
Okay, that's listening. Now, speaking, so many learners hesitate. That fear of making mistakes is huge.
It's paralyzing for some.
But the source is really clear here. Mistakes aren't just okay, they're essential for learning.
Absolutely crucial. You can't improve without making them.
So how do we get over that fear? How do we start speaking with more confidence?
The book really emphasizes creating a safe space for practice, consistent practice. Susan, for instance, got way more confident just by speaking English every day with her husband.
Oh, okay.
And he was patient, helped correct her gently, focusing on getting the message across first. That consistent, low-stakes practice is gold.
Low stakes, that feels key. A supportive environment where mistakes are just learning opportunities.
Exactly, not failures.
And the advice seems to be practice often and make it personal. How does connecting language to your own life help you own it?
It makes it relevant, memorable. Peter improved his speaking so much just by telling simple stories about his day.
Like,
Today, I helped my wife in the garden. We planted tomatoes. Simple stuff. He wasn't reciting memorized lines. He was actively using language to describe his real life.
building his own narrative.
Right. Describing your own world, your experiences, creating your own little stories in English that really helps solidify the language. It becomes your tool.
And you can even record yourself or talk to yourself.
Yeah. Emma apparently practiced talking to herself while doing dishes. It removes that fear of judgment entirely. It's just you and the language, making it a tool for thinking, for self-expression.
Beyond talking to yourself, what other really effective speaking methods does the source mention?
Role-playing comes up as really effective. Remember Paul who used a freeze? He improved a lot by role-playing specific situations, like giving directions, practicing the chunks he needed, corner, block, intersection.
That targeted practice for real situations.
Exactly. Sarah the nurse practiced patient dialogues. Emma the teacher practiced classroom instructions. It's about making English functional for your needs.
So integrate it into your routine.
Definitely. Like David and his wife Lisa. They just started speaking English during breakfast, simple chats about their day, their plans. It directly connected English words to his actual life.
Okay, let's touch on reading and writing. Reading helps you see the language in action, right? Grammar, vocabulary, and context.
For sure. It reinforces everything we've talked about.
The source suggests starting simple books, articles. What's the key strategy when you hit difficult words?
Resist that urge. The urge to immediately grab the dictionary for every single unknown word. Try to guess the meaning from the context first. Train that inference muscle. It's a crucial skill for real-world reading and listening. Then, after you've tried, look it up if you still need to. It makes the learning more active.
Active, not passive. Got it. And how does writing fit into this whole understanding picture?
Writing is super powerful for organizing your thoughts and for reinforcing all that vocabulary and grammar you're encountering.
How so?
Well, Laura reads short stories, then writes just a few sentences summarizing them. That forces her to recall and use the language actively.
Makes sense.
Anna reads news articles, then tells her husband about them in English. That helps her remember words and practice speaking more naturally as she explains her understanding.
So explaining it helps you solidify it.
Absolutely. Even keeping a simple daily journal, just a sentence or two about your day, trains your brain to think in English. It improves your writing, your fluency, everything.
Okay, so bringing this all together, this whole understanding-based approach, what does it actually look like day to day? It sounds like it's about small, consistent steps.
Exactly that. And integrating English into your real life, not treating it like some separate school subject.
So practical habits.
The source pushes for setting small, daily, achievable goals. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Like what?
Maybe learn 5 new phrases today, not just words. Listen to a podcast for 10 minutes, focusing on the gist. Use 3 new sentences when you talk to your partner tonight. Small wins.
And be patient, right?
Oh, definitely. Be patient with yourself. Real learning takes time. And remember, mistakes are not just okay. They are necessary. They show you're trying, you're stretching.
Like Kevin, the construction worker.
Yeah, great example. He'd learn new words from stories, then consciously try to use them in conversations with his coworkers during lunch break.
Making them stick through use.
Exactly.
Ah.
It wasn't about perfect grammar. It was about practical communication, making the words his own.
There's a phrase in the source, right? Learning English is not about filling your head.
It's about filling your life with meaning.
Yeah.
It really captures the core idea.
When you focus on understanding, on connecting English to your actual life, everything, listening, speaking, reading, writing, it just becomes easier. More enjoyable, too.
It's a huge shift. From abstract rules and lists to practical, meaningful communication.
So we've really dug into how this shift from just memorizing to truly understanding can completely change your English learning.
Yeah, from seeing vocabulary in real sentences, learning grammar through patterns, actively listening for the main points, practicing speaking in everyday situations.
The key is always context, connection.
Real-world application, every time.
Okay, so for everyone listening, what's one concrete thing you can do right now, today, to start embracing this understanding first approach?
All right, here's a challenge. Pick one new word you came across today, or even a word you think you know pretty well.
Okay, got one.
Now, instead of just thinking about its definition, ask yourself, how could I genuinely use this word in my life today? Or maybe tomorrow?
Make it practical.
Yes. Then try this. Can you explain what that word means to, say, a friend, but using really simple words? Break it down to its core essence.
Explain it simply.
And finally, can you think of one specific personal example or situation where that word fits perfectly? Make it your story, your connection.
Okay, let's try an example. Maybe the word priority.
Great one. So first, how would you use it? My priority this week is finishing this report.
Right. Then explain it simply. It's something that's more important right now than other things.
Perfect. And the personal connection.
Maybe. When we were planning our wedding, our biggest priority was making sure both our families could be there.
Exactly. See, that little process, connecting, questioning, explaining simply, applying personally, that's how real deep understanding starts to form.
It's not just a definition anymore.
Nope. It's making English a tool that works for your life, not just a list you have to conquer.
So keep practicing daily. Keep connecting the language to your world, your experiences.
And you'll find your English journey gets smoother, definitely more enjoyable, and way more effective when you focus on meaning, context, and just using it.
Go forth and start understanding.